Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. Today on the show, I have a very special guest who is going to just blow your mind. She has found some things that are going to make life changes. She has been focused on disease-free living, and she is a survivor, an author, a certified in this particular health tracking kit. I am just amazed. She's got to share that with you herself, though. And this kit is going to make a difference in the lives of so very many people. We are always looking at how we can identify certain things, how we can treat it. We go to the doctors and they sometimes can't identify something, and you know that there's something going on. Well, with us today, Emilie DeAngelo is going to share some information that is going to be very advantageous for you. Welcome, Emilie.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I am delighted to have you. You have got such an interesting story to share, and I think we should start with that and then go into how this is going to help others, because what's really important here is that people will identify better with somebody who's been through something and has overcome it or has created something to help others overcome it. And you are the right person with the right tools right now.
Great. Thank you. Well, I guess it all started when I was diagnosed. At the time that I was diagnosed, I thought I was healthy. I worked out a couple days a week, and I ate what I thought was right. Was born and raised in Philly, Irish Italian. We had meat, potatoes, green beans, and
Reveille, Irish Italian, right here.
But we ate 3 squares, and we did what we thought was right. However, I guess that wasn't good enough, because as time's gone on, I had my son when I was about 35 years old, and in my early 40s, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. It was not in my genes.
Oh.
It was, it was awful. It was a nightmare to hear those words. It really was. I found out it was environmental, and I was like, environmental? What the hell does that mean?
Uh-huh. And then stage 3.
Environmental.
Yeah.
Did I stop breathing? Really? And you're just standing there because you don't know what to do, and you get angry, because my biggest thing was I'm not dying. I have my son, and dying's not an option. Living's the only option.
That's right.
And I went and started researching. Went through chemo, and chemo is an absolute nightmare in itself. What it does to your body and your mind, nobody should go through it, and to know that children go through it makes me sick.
Uh-huh.
I lost my hair. I went through the whole thing, radiation, had my breast removed, a tumor, the whole thing. And I had wonderful doctors. Don't get me wrong. I had wonderful doctors, kind doctors. But what do you do after the treatment? What do you do?
Uh-huh.
How do you live?
Uh-huh.
So I dove deep into research as I was going through all this, and I kept hearing all these honorable mentions about pH balance, and it's funny, and I mention it in my book and other things that I speak of. pH balance was my father would balance the fish tank water, and I'm like, pH, okay, I understand that, I get it. And as I dove deeper and deeper and deeper, had myself certified, I kept hearing about all of it. So sugar is acid, stress is acid. Acid kills your pH balance. And Dr. Otto Warburg, I was reading up on him as well. He kept coming in with the pH balances. The disease cannot anchor itself in a well-balanced body. And I thought, well, you know what? That's something I can grasp and I can deal with. And how do I do that? Because I have to tell you, when you learn from living the way you used to, it's like being in an airplane dropped in the middle of China, and they tell you, here's $10, go live. Because the language barrier of the whole thing.
Everything changes then. Everything.
everything changes. Everything, your life stops. I mean, it completely stops. So I took it in baby steps, and that's my whole process with everything is baby steps. I started to learn just different things about working out, living. I was in a hamster wheel, and I mean a hamster wheel. Everything was work, 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 and this and that, and stressed. I'm going to take care of this one. I'm taking care of that one. And meanwhile, here I am,
Yes.
loaded in acid from every aspect of my life.
Yes.
So I started in baby steps. I changed this, and I brought this in, and I replaced things. I didn't get rid of things. I replaced them.
Okay.
And that made my life a lot easier and better, because, you know, when you're used to eating pasta and doing this and doing that, you don't want to hear that you have to get rid of it.
That's very true.
Everything I did was about replacing. Mm-hmm. And during the whole time, I was reading these wonderful books, wonderful doctors, all again about acid alkaline balance. And then they were telling you about these strips, and I found some strips, but as soon as you opened them up, they were compromised. So I never knew if I was getting the right reading to see if I was getting my balance to the 7.3. So what happened was all that is I developed and designed a kit to use at home, because I know had I had this kit, it would have been a difference. If I would have been able to see, people go to the doctor and they see the blood counts, they see the report. So you go there once a year. Okay. How many people really go every year? Not many.
Right.
So if I was at home with this kit, checking my pH and being, hey, you know what? I'm not really feeling my best, because I'll tell you, Rebecca, I had little to no signs, and any of them I sure as heck didn't recognize to be breast cancer.
That's really interesting. So it was the discovery then through a regular self-examination, or was it something through a mammography? How did you end up discovering this? Because that really is the start of your whole journey here.
Well, you know, I was in the shower, and I thought, you know, you always do these self-exams, and I did.
Uh-huh.
And I felt this, and I was like, and I moved it around. And so here, you know, you go right on the internet and you start reading.
Yeah.
And because it moved around, they said it's probably nothing. It's probably benign. My gynecologist said the same thing. Emily, don't worry about it. It's probably nothing. It moves around. The problem is yes, because it moves around, that's not where my cancer was. My cancer was up here. What happened was the fluid from this tumor came down to this little sac, like a fluid, like you know how like in our radiators, we have the main, and then it kind of goes off to the reservoir.
Right.
Well, that's what this did. So what I was feeling wasn't the tumor. It was the reservoir of like a leak in. And I might not be understanding it correctly, but that's how I have it.
That makes sense. It's kind of like a swollen lymph node, you know, that's indicating that something's wrong. I mean, in some respects.
Right.
But that is absolutely amazing. And I've got to tell you that with you just saying that, this is absolutely crucial for women, because there are many that will not do a breast self-exam because of how awkward it makes them feel with their own body. But this is crucial to identifying if there's something wrong. Now, prior to that, though, your kit can do something.
I absolutely believe that if I would have had this kit, testing myself regularly, daily, whatever, and I would have seen that my acid just wasn't getting under control, I would have been able to either, hey, let me take a look and jump into gear here. Let me try all these things to get it under control. And if I couldn't have, and I knew there was acid going on in my body, because again, Dr. Otto Warburg said everybody diagnosed with cancer, everybody has an acidic level that's high.
Uh-huh.
And had I been able to do that, I might have ran to the doctors, gotten some blood tests, gotten a mammogram, whatever, and would have known so much earlier. I wouldn't have gone through the hell of everything that comes with it, because you just think your world stops like you wouldn't believe. It's like getting hit by a truck. Your finances, your
Yes.
intimacy, your career. God forbid you don't have enough money away.
Yes.
Forget it. It brings a whole bunch of things that you weren't thinking of yesterday. Trust me.
Yeah, and super quick. I mean, this stuff happens like that. It's not,
Just like
there's
that.
no messing around. Once something like this happens, there's no messing around, and your entire life changes, everything. And, it's not only an internal issue. You have more internal that affects you than just that. I mean, you're talking mental, physical, emotional, and then you have the outside, your exterior body now, because it's responding to treatment and so on and so forth. That's changing, and that doesn't do anything but add to more internal issues that you're struggling with. And so it's huge. So tell me, if I were to get your kit, how does this work? What happens? What's the process?
Well, basically, you get the kit.
Okay.
The kit comes with two test strips, and they're in
Okay.
very tight, sealed, dark containers. They're also inside another plastic case because I try to keep the integrity of everything to test that you're getting as most accurate as possible. Comes with a little pee cup. You pee in a cup first thing in the morning. You dip the stick in. First stick is for glucose, and that's just a positive negative read, because by the time glucose is filled into the urine, you're having issues. So that's an indicator. Hey, get myself to the doctor. Let's get some blood work. Let me see if I got pre-diabetes. Let me see what's going on.
Right.
But the second one is the one we do daily, and that is your pH. And right on the bottle, it has color coordinated from 5.0 to 8.0. And the thing is you want to try to get it at 7.3, 7.4, and you want to keep it there, because that's when your body is like repelling disease.
I love it.
Some people think, oh, I'm at 6.5, I'm good. No, you're not.
No.
It's like walking from Florida to California. You still have a way to go.
That's
so
right.
I try to, I have a digital download book that comes with it. It's a happy brochure with pictures, very easy read. And I give you like 15 things that you can do, plus recipes, a chart of alkaline acid foods, and you're doing an 80-20 rule. And I tell you things because I'm hopeful that out of the 15 things or so that I give you, if you adopt 5 of them, you should be able to get yourself under control. And if you don't, what are you going to do? You're going to go get some help, and you're not going to go through what I went through.
And so the bottom line is, there is no dying. They're not open.
Yeah,
for
not here. I'm going to triple digits. I am triple digits. Dr. Wayne, who I work very closely with, Dr. Wayne Pickering, he's the mango man. He also does food combining. He said the same thing to me actually today. He's like, I'm going to 125.
I love it.
So I said, I'm with you. I'm with you.
It is so funny because I've been really excited about the aging process. And many women, most of us are very vain, right? Women just in general, we want to look pretty.
Oh, I am.
It just is what it is, right? So
of course.
a lot of times women will dye their hair, or they, do things for the wrinkles or age spots, blah, blah, blah. So I started, seeing that there was some gray in my hair, and I'm starting to get, all the little wrinkles here and there. And I've been very excited about this. And when I was sharing that with somebody, they said, you're a little weird. What's with that? And I said, that means God's allowing me to go through the life aging process. And I cannot wait to see what I look like as this little old lady. And I'm that cute little old lady over there, I think that this is fantastic. But to do so, we really have to stay on top of our health. We've got to address issues. And if we can do it in a preventive stage, or we can identify it, especially with something that is so simplistic, a urine test kit. How much more simple? You do this at home. You don't have to go to a doctor. You don't have to get stuck in the arm. If that doesn't work, get stuck in your hand. And I don't know about you, but for me, I'm not a needle person, and I can't even look at it when someone else is having their blood drawn. But this is simple. This is so simple.
It is. It's very simple. But here's the thing too. A lot of people don't go annually. It doesn't rule out a blood test or anything like that, of course. but it's simple. It's at home. It's not, you're not mailing it out. You're doing it at home daily. You can measure, manage, be accountable, and have a peace of mind too. It's
And then
it's really.
I've got to tell you though, Emily, and then you stop right there and you go, okay, now if this was being conducted at a facility, you know, your doctor's office or whatever, they might say, okay, here's what has happened and here's something we can do to treat symptoms. What you have done is gone one step further and said, we're not doing that. I'm going to show you how to cure yourself because this works.
Well, you're not allowed to say cure, of course you know that, but I know my story, what I've done for myself. I have kept my body, as I said, Dr. Otto Warburg has, you know, won the Nobel Prize, I think several times. Disease can't anchor itself, so for me,
this is awesome.
That's what I've been living by.
This is absolutely
and there's
awesome.
many other people out there that have been living this way too, and you know, it's just it's a magnificent, it's, you know, and it's different. You're changing your life, you're replacing things, you're learning a lot of new things. But you know what, when God put Adam and Eve out there, he gave them a garden, and we need to get back to that. People need to be accountable. They need to get back to basics, and really, you know what, it's done with all this processing, and like Donnie was saying, sugar's out of control. It's hidden in everything you do. What's that?
Yes. It's insane, and I've read so much about sugar, and it does so much damage. I mean, it tastes so wonderful, but internally, it can, I mean, yeast in the gut, and then that creates other problems, and so on and so forth. And
absolutely, inflammation. It's horrible.
But I never thought, Emily, about my body being acidic. I hadn't thought about that.
Right. And that's my crusade. Everybody likes hearing what I'm saying, but they're not educated. They don't understand it. They think acid reflux, I'll take a Tums. Nothing like that at all. It's just like your body being on fire, building acid, and it might not be today, tomorrow, but when it keeps in that state, the cells start getting damaged, clustering, and we all know what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. That is something. I mean, that is absolutely something. And not only that, you've been able to identify that, but you also have recipes, and you have the 15 tools that people can use. And even if they're only, like you said, using 5, that's just a third of that. What a difference. What a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I also something else that I really want to point out, because this is the challenge with getting healthy. People think they have to give up, just like you said. And so thinking about deprivation is not a motivator. It sometimes hinders someone from, you know, reaching their goal. And I really like that you said, let's replace. We're not talking about giving up. We're talking about replacing. And when you do that, that means it's something that you're interested in, your body is going to accept, you're going to enjoy, and then you reap the benefits from that. That to me is huge.
Well, do you know what else, Rebecca, that I discovered just myself? The energy, the way I look, the way I feel, the way I think. I don't have that brain fog sitting there anymore. My gut's not, you know, it's not, or the sleep that I have. And it honestly, the weight loss that comes with it is just a given. It covers, you know, your low carb diets, your protein diets. It covers almost everything, and you're living healthy. You're doing so much for your body, disease free. You're teaching your family. I mean, it's just a win-win all around. And it is simple. It's simple once you commit to it. And you know what? We all have to grow up here. We need to be accountable. You can't just go to your doctor, be handing a pill anymore. Look at our healthcare. You can't even go. Like you have to be certain time, certain this, get this test, that test, and all that. It's crazy.
And let's even think about that. I mean, you've got Obamacare coming and going. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got teledoctors now, video doctors. You've got your doc in the box on the corner. It's kind of like, where do I go? What do I do? How much is this costing me? Well, if we are taking care of issues within our body by not allowing processed food in, keeping our pH balance level the correct group number system that you have there, then we're not even having to be concerned with those things other than some kind of emergency. I mean, you're not having to
Pretty
do
much,
that.
do an annual visit with them. Absolutely, always go, annually,
Yes.
as your insurance allows. Not even has your doctor allows anymore, but that's a whole other
Yeah, I
topic
mean,
for us.
we've
But
got this can of worms going on with that whole industry right there. And
it's
yet,
scary.
yes, and if all of us took the accountability with our own health, then when issues do arise, there's going to be more time from your doctor to spend with you in addressing those issues.
Amen.
Yes, I mean, it will just make a huge difference. Healthcare costs will go down because,
You're not at risk.
yeah. So I think that this is phenomenal. Now, let's, for a minute, allow the audience to know exactly where to go to get a copy of your book and get the test kit.
Very simple. phhealthy.com. It's phhealthy.com. My book is there to read the book. It's a standalone book. The health tracking kit, like I said, it should be right next to your first aid kit. It comes with a digital download book. Makes it easy for you to read everywhere because everybody's mobile anymore on their phone. And you can refer back to it. If something's not right or you can't get something under control, you refer back to it, you try it. And I get plenty of strips, months full of strips. And it comes in a cute little case, goes right in your drawer, right in your closet. Mine, as soon as you pee every morning, I freestyle it now. I don't even need the cup anymore, but sitting on the back of my
Mhm.
I'm a pro now.
I love it. Well, Emily, thank you so much for being on the show. I can't thank you enough, and I know that there is so much more to share, and the audience will have an opportunity to see you again very soon. So I thank you.
Yes, you will.
And
Thank you for everything, Rebecca. Thank you.
oh, you are so welcome. I'm really excited. And if you'll just hold tight when we're finished with the show, we'll have some closing thoughts. And for those of you who have been watching Rebecca Sounds Reveille, I want to thank you. This is an opportunity for you to think about what's going on internally with your body and do be accountable. We do need to be accountable for our own health and know what's going on. A simple way to identify that is by doing just what Emilie DeAngelo said. She is an author and inventor of the health tracking kit, and it is something that you should keep by your side and have to use in the morning. We want you healthy, and we want you happy, and we want you successful. So thank you again. We look forward to having you watch another episode soon.